Good morning. It's 8:30. I did a video yesterday that, as you conceived the possibility, rambled to the extent of I'm not sure what I was talking about anymore. But anyway, I decided to do this as a completely non-static video. See, I'm not going to show my face because I'm unshowered and it's morning, but the coffee is here, so I'm good to go. Um, First up, I've lost my notes from yesterday, which is probably for the best. But anyway, I did want to say that I did listen to Siri speaking over you 3 times in your video, just to let you know how that works. She was definitely much louder than you. um, I had an epiphany yesterday. So, as you know, I am finished with the EP, and I went directly into the Dylan Goes Electric stuff. And I listened to a complete cassette, which was basically filled with in progress tracks, but they seemed to be mostly mixed as we would know them. But I found When Love Comes Dancing Through Your Door as a solo thing, standing by itself, and I found it connected to the bus stop. I also found Halfway Around the World attached to the bus stop, attached to When Love Comes Dancing Through Your Door. I have some serious doubts as to some of the tracks on the Dylan Goes Electric that I had worked on after you left that summer, if they exist or not. I'm going to throw these titles out because I'm kind of remembering them. Contents Under Pressure, Floater, Have You Ever Been Horrified? Monica Wonders Why is one that I haven't run into yesterday, but I spent about an hour and a half yesterday looking him up, and it was wonderful. And here's the epiphany. There's actually two. Um, it's not as static as I thought it was. I enjoyed listening to, wonder about someone. It's like, oh, that's okay. And I'm actually kind of impressed with my guitar playing at that point. These days I'm playing with a guitar that, I do a Hail Mary every time I attempt a take because, I have to retune everything all the time. But evidently a new set of strings has helped that a lot. So the other epiphany, let me get my coffee first. The other epiphany was that I think that because I had put so much effort into the Dylan Goes Electric, setting it up, then you coming that summer, and then working on it probably another 8 to 10 months, I think, afterwards. Maybe not that much, but it was a lot. That I felt that being serious or doing serious songs when I was 32 or whatever that was, led to Float Your Boat and No Pants. So maybe it was my reaction to being serious and feeling that it wasn't successful, including the drum machine and all that. But I regress on that now. It's like it's not bad. All that stuff is not bad, and I am much more attuned to it now. So a lot of my doubts have gone away as of yesterday afternoon. Is what I'm saying, but maybe just to reiterate and make the point, I went to No Pants directly from the Dylan Goes Electric project because it was like a polar opposite of everything that we had done over, I'm going to call it a 15, 16 month situation. It's got to be over a year. So it explains a lot to me. It's like, why did I do that? Why did I go into that? Well, maybe, heading towards a degenerate vein is a self-healing situation for me. And if I look back over time, it's like when I was doing something that I was trying to break ground on, at least for myself, and it didn't work, I went directly back to the degenerate kind of feel of things. Just thought it was interesting. And this morning I had another epiphany on an unrelated sidebar, if I may harken back to O.J. Simpson trial terminology. I was thinking about the Beatles, and the, and the possibility that I'm gonna all the early stuff is, it's fine by me, and in whatever situation it was, American release or English release, whatever. You get to Rubber Soul, that it's getting closer to being universal, but it's not. That's great in the progress of themselves. And then you have Revolver, which is incredible to me. It was definitely attached more so to the earlier stuff, the last 2.5, 3 years previous to 66. But, obviously there's growth going on. My point being is that even though I think that Sergeant Pepper was the next logical step, or at least I had thought so, maybe it was a dead end creatively for them. I mean, it led to Magical Mystery Tour, which is nothing wrong with it, but you're also dealing with songs that they created at that point where that ended up on the Yellow Submarine soundtrack, like, Only a Northern Song, It's All Too Much, All Together Now, where it was like the next step in the evolution of the Beatles from 62 to 67. It kind of hit a wall, and it was just a free for all, that having to find your own or their own path. So my point being is that maybe Sergeant Pepper was the best thing ever, recorded in the '60s for them. I don't know what I feel about about Abbey Road. So, but nothing bad about it. So that it led to the Magical Mystery Tour, which is kind of unfocused, and then you have early '68 where we're going to India, and that kind of was where John found out how to to pick basically from Donovan. And they did do Lady Madonna, and they did The Inner Light, and they did Hey Bulldog before they left that year. That it was it let them in the ocean of possibilities. And even though people these days seem to think that their favorite album is the White Album, I'm saying that it's a very disjointed, though lovely, situation, which basically only leaves failed projects in its wake, like Get Back in January of '69, and then and the Bad Feelings and the Bad Business and Alan Klein, and which led to the final swan song, Abbey Road. That was definitely coming back into a creative point of view where it was more focused. But the band had been dead. I'm saying perhaps that maybe Sergeant Pepper led to their demise. So that's just something I wanted to put out there. Um, so inside of the processes, I write lyrics completely and utterly on this iPhone. I found that going over my notebooks over the last 5-6 months, I had found rewriting lyrics or trying to find lines, and it goes on for pages. And I have found that the process of writing lyrics on my phone, solely on my phone, was it saves time. I mean, I can see what it looks like in print. That's kind of an odd thing, but I think it's true for me. That doesn't work. But just to find the combination, and maybe the syncopation of a line, it's just better for me to be able to, and I'm glad I found this this way of writing that it just kind of shortens the process. Like, I know that that's working or it's not. Um, the process, as far as writing down little teeny things that come to be, or little phrases or titles, as we discussed at one point. Yes, I definitely, I have this, and I write it on my notes page. So I have an additional page where there's just lines and lines and lines of possible titles, of which once in a while I will use one of those supposed titles as part of a phrase, especially this year, because I was dealing with so much this year that I went back into the notebooks and I found lines and stuff that maybe prompted me to, well, that belongs with this whole sentiment and this new song kind of situation. So I used that just to be able to, finish these songs. Um, I sent you a text yesterday, and my previous video was like I was getting ready to finish or try to work on the last song, of which just came together really well, and I was done by like 1 o'clock or so. So that's when I started texting you, and that's when I started listening to the Dylan Goes Electric stuff, which led to these other thoughts. I think that my other video didn't have anything to ponder. It was just like me reading the news. So, and I'm glad I didn't send that other one yet. So this is part of my process too. That board right there on my door is songs that I'm working on, but I also have like notes to myself, to transpose. If I had started a song in a key of E, I usually stay, but not necessarily so anymore. That's something very unique for me. And with that, don't use those lyrical sounds. That's There are certain kind of words that are awkward to sing inside of a syncopation, and so I've tried to stop doing that and try to find what I'm trying to say using either mellower words. Let's say I don't know if that's the right word, but that aren't so harsh. Like coker. Like that. Not a lot of K sounds in my stuff from 2024. Also, another thought came to me about this year, being that it's nearly at the end. I had a lot of time to sit on these iPhone, basic recordings, months in some cases. For this newest SASP that I'm doing, there was a few that go way back into like February and March, which gave me a lot of time to consider, like if I had written lyrics in March for a song that I had done in the end of February or whatever. It was like I had a lot of time to go back, and I did go over and fix it. So I afforded myself the time to sit on it for a while and to say like, well, no, I think that I could do better. I think that that line needs to be done, which kind of comes back into the full circle of the Dylan Goes Electric stuff. I mean, that might have taken 33 years, but you know, just sonically and listening to it, I appreciate it more in hindsight because I think I got stuck inside of a loop of like, oh, I don't, this is, I don't like the way this. I still do that, but I think a lesson learned was that by not hitting on it and or sticking to it for an additional 3 years, back then, 92 to 95, that I appreciate it more now, even though it didn't go anywhere. But what I didn't realize back then is that the chances of anything going anywhere were moot anyway. It didn't really matter. So I appreciate the prompt that you gave me to kind of go back and listen to it. And again, on another sidebar, it's the conditions of the cassettes worry me. The one I listened to yesterday was pretty good. It was like a studio cassette, from that Randy Miyotki guy in Fort Collins that I worked with back then. But some of them are warped, but they're playing. And also, the cassette player that I have has stopped working on the left track. So what I listened to yesterday was just basically everything on the right track, but it let me know what it was. So I wanted to show you this too. Just taking notes of what's on cassettes. I've started this. So there's this. Let me see if I can get back, just to make ourselves happy. So on the first side that I listened to, the song "You Remind Me," and then it's all kind of complete ending sequence. I was completely surprised that existed. And then there was What's the Matter, Nancy? It's an alternate version. There was an extra part of backing vocals I had placed on it, evidently, and it is noted as a incomplete and alternate version. And I don't, if you remember, there was a skip right after What's the Matter, yeah, what's the matter? Yeah, there's a skip, like a record skip that what I had placed in. But Bring It On Home, I had totally forgotten about that song. And just the one, if you remember, it's beautiful, but that's where I was using phonetic sounds from the demo tape that I had created and tried to make lyrics out of that. So that was being experimental, wasn't it? So side two, there was Nothing I Want to Know, which connected to Wonder About Someone, which is very beautiful, and then What's the Matter, Nancy, which is connected to you know there's a fade, so that it's the if I remember, there used to be another connection to this, but this little version of these three songs, you know I have a little bit of concern about quality of the tape kind of dropping out near and then, but I think I'm gonna just say that it was more so because of the bad cassette player. So and then I found the Bus Stop as an individual entity, and then I found When Love Comes Dancing Through Your Door as an individual on the next side, and then I found Of What I Said, which was that's it stands by itself in another individual. There's a beginning and an ending, in other words, and then I found the beginning of I don't know if you remember that, but it's an all American great hit, ready to rock it, and then it goes into a full version of Halfway Around the World. So that was cool. And then that connected to the Bus Stop with a sneeze or a blowing of the nose or something. I don't know. And then that connected to When Love Comes Dancing Through Your Door. And then there's another version of You Remind Me that has the ending routine cut short. So anyway, that was completely wondrous. So I've already gone into 17 minutes, but I just wanted to share with you what I had found. Um, I think I would like your thoughts on the Dead End Beetle thing. If you find it, that to be maybe the beginning of the end, creativity with a point of view and with a purpose in that way, and writing lyrics and having songs on iPhones, you know, again, I think I've said this before, but I'm so happy that I had actually written down hundreds of different riffs for for 20 songs or so, and I went through them because now, even though the iPhone Music Memos thing died, I changed it over to voice memos, which left all the songs there, but all the backing, like the drums and the bass, the AI drums and bass, were gone. So, but I had all those little guitar riffs and stuff that I had written, and as I used seven of these songs that were saved, one of them you didn't have the drums and bass anymore, but I used that. So for this new project, and so it was me just filling in. I think I just lost my train of thought. I'm at 18:45. I'm going to be making it 19 minutes. Yeah, I'm feel a lot more awake yesterday. I felt the weight of the world drop off my shoulders yesterday after finishing this. I decided I'm not going to listen to anything for a couple days, and then I'm going to start mixing. I'm probably going to need a little bit of advice on Bandcamp because I can't understand a few things. I guess I have to reattach myself to my PayPal account before I can do anything else. But I'm having a hard time actually loading photographs, and I thought maybe I could fix that by getting it onto my iPad, and maybe it was that situation. Maybe Bandcamp is too far advanced for an iPhone 6 Plus, and I'm very, very grateful that this phone has lasted me since before Joy Acid Pact. So, and I'm going to keep it as long as I can. So anyway, yeah, I slept yesterday, probably from 4:30. Woke up at 8. Woke up at 4 in the morning, and then I just woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I got a lot of good sleep, and it was necessary. Um, in as far as us not working and not doing anything, I have found that I dropped my gym, at that, and probably I think I re-signed up in September, but I let it lapse again. So I reset myself up yesterday because I think that going in and doing something physical, or doing your mind, or setting yourself like a short term goal actually helps my creative process, and my process of thinking how I'm going to get from point A to point B, or even in like unattached terms, what's important and what's not important. Brought that up because I'm feeling that I learned a lot from Point of No Concern to this project, whereas I was stuffing every idea I had onto Point of No Concern, which is all fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I did a lot of editing of the ideas of all those iPhone riffs and what have you, and thoughts that could go on to these songs. I made it much less cluttered, and I like the whole end product a lot better. I really actually can't wait to get to the mixing on this. I'm at 21 minutes. Okay, evidently I had a lot to say. I'm going to leave it at here. I have a video from yesterday morning of the birds learning how to talk. Allie dropped off a iPad that had 2 hours of cockatoos talking, and my birds were looking at it. It was like literally set up in front of the cage, like they had big screen TV, and that noise between the video of them of a cockatiel doing, the greatest hits like Star Wars and La Cucaracha. The birds were confused, but they were hollering, and you can hear it all through yesterday morning's video. It was almost it was more annoying than you could possibly think. I have no. I mean, Siri interrupting your conversation yesterday had nothing on three birds just screaming for 2 hours. It was taxing, let's say. Okay, I'm going to finish my coffee and get my day started. I will talk to you soon. You're the best. I'm really excited about seeing what's left of Dylan Goes Electric. And here's another. My last thought was, what if we can't find everything? Do you want to turn this into like a one of these elongated EPs? Where we kind of get rid of the fluff. I mean, I'll put in all my half unfinished ideas, like Bring It On Home is lovely. But I think I remember saying that, well, it's just not done. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Well, that was me back then. Anyway, so, maybe if we run everything like, maybe it may end up being 10 songs. It may not be an EP, but what are the possibilities if we can't find, or something is damaged and unusable? We just leave it out and run everything that is clear and ready to go. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. All right, 23 minutes. I will talk to you later. I'm sorry that I rolled on, but yeah, life will roll on. So there you go. Anyway, I loved your last video. I love the car videos. You and Siri are my favorite two people to talk to now. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Thanks for everything you do and who you are. Bye.